Hello everybody and welcome to the 8th week video. This won't be the last video. I'll give you a farewell video at the end of this week, but this is the last video as far as like instructional stuff. So I did get to finish reading the first drafts of the research paper. It took me 3 days to get through them once I got started, which was July the 5th. So it took me Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to get through all of them. But if you take a look at the number of comments I gave to you and multiply that by 16, you can understand why it takes 3 days to get through everybody's first draft. But I wanted to take the time to make sure that I gave you plenty of comments and plenty of help. There are also plenty of resources, or should be plenty of resources in the class page in order to help you out as well. Some of the most common comments I made were people not using research at all. You know, you'd have a works cited page, but you never quote your authors. Another comment that I made frequently was not enough specific details. So, for example, it's not just enough to say that Lady Bracknell is snooty. You got to give me examples from the play to prove that she's snooty. Like, for example, when she gives Algernon the quote, "Well, don't make fun of high society because only people who can't get into it do that." So that is the evidence from the story that she is snooty. So instead of making broad general comments, make sure you use examples from the play. Quote from the play, quote from all three of your sources at least once, but don't fill your paper full of quotes. If you turned in a paper and it had like 50% quotes, even if you did them correctly, formatted them correctly, which not everybody did, or cited them correctly, which not everybody did, but even if you did all of that, 50% quotes is too many. You know, you should shoot for somewhere around 15% or somewhere like that, 10 or 15%. Everything else should be your discussion. I want to know what you have to say about the importance of being earnest. I don't want a collection of quotations from other scholars and quotations from the play. So make sure that you tell me what you have observed from reading Ernest. So those were probably the things I made the most comments on. I should have the poetry papers graded within the next couple of days. I know it's taken me a long time to get those done. I've gotten through about half of them, but I felt it was more important to help you with the research paper than it was to grade that poetry paper, because that research paper is such a large part of your grade this semester. So take my advice. When I get those poetry papers graded, make sure you look at my comments in there. If I made comments, say like for formatting, say like you left out the header or you had too much space between paragraphs, if you made that mistake on the poetry paper and then previously on the prose paper, guess what? You're going to need to correct that mistake on the research paper, because I'm counting off for those on that as well. So, I'm going to say probably by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, which will be Tuesday, I'll have those poetry papers done. Don't forget the hard deadline. Deadline on that research paper is Thursday night. Everything in the class shuts down on Thursday night, because I need to get those graded and your grades submitted in time. The registrar will not be happy with me if I'm late on getting those papers graded and the grades submitted. So Thursday is a hard deadline. Please don't miss it. Okay? So anyway, look for a little farewell video somewhere around Thursday or Friday, and I wish you happy rewriting, and I can't wait to see how much better these papers turn out after you've followed my suggestions.